mind about corruption inside every sector. But when it comes to them, they send you. Try investigate efficiency, right? Go talk to Barrett and Sue, cause I done fed up. You done fed up. He done fed up. She done fed up. We done fed up. The people fed up. You're hiding corruption inside the cup. Look how evil set up. The people fed up. I done fed up on the dirty water, low pressure, want scream and tell somebody. Imagine 1500 US and they're telling me super salary. I done fed up.
Today, I'd like to talk about the harm and disastrous impact the current Vice President of Guyana, Bharat Jagdeo, has brought upon the people of Guyana. Everything he has done has been for his own benefit, never thinking about the well-being of the people or taking any action to improve their lives. Instead of helping the common people live a decent life, he has abused his power from 1999 to 2024 to embezzle at least billions of dollars of public funds, possibly even more. The ordinary people have suffered from unfair treatment and a disastrous quality of life because of him. He's a truly corrupt and evil person, using his special status to commit countless harmful acts against Guyana, all for his own gain. He even has a massive fortune in China, worth billions of dollars, all taken from the people's wealth. Today, I hope everyone becomes aware of his corruption. Let's come together, unite, and help the people of Guyana start a new chapter for a better future.
今天想跟大家一起了解现在的圭亚那副总统巴拉特贾格迪奥所对圭亚那人民带来的伤害跟灾难性的造成。他所做的一切都是为了自己的利益，从来没有为圭亚那百姓着想，或者做出任何能让百姓生活变得更好的事，让平民百姓过上应该有的生活。他凭着自己执政的权力，从1999到2024贪污至少数十亿美金或更多百姓的财产。他让平民百姓受到了非常不公平的待遇跟灾难性的生活。他是个非常邪恶的人，用着自己的特别身份，做着对圭亚那无数伤害的事件，只为
there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Zhurong?
Su. Oh, Su.
Top of the evening to everyone. Top of the evening to everyone. Welcome to Over to You. Welcome, investors. This is your show. Over to You. A show by the people for the people. Welcome to the program. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to everyone in the Caribbean, North America, the continent of Africa, Europe, and wherever you reside across the world. I know Guyanese is all over. You know, my brothers and sisters out there in T. I know it's probably 1 a.m. in the morning on your end, or 12 a.m. Could be one of the two. All right. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Welcome to the program. How are you guys doing? Please let me know in the comments. I'm looking at your comments this evening. How are you guys doing? For those on Facebook, I can't really see your names. All right, so I'll try to open a side Facebook so I can see who is on. All right. Mary Figueroa, good evening to you. Kenneth Dennis, a pleasant good evening, sir. Ewart Eastman, good evening. Rosemary Martindale, Brenda Braithwaite, as usual, a pleasant good evening to you. Shondell Griffith, a pleasant good evening to you. Yonette Cummins, Miss Lachman Aziz, yes, Miss Lachman Aziz, a pleasant good evening to you and your husband, Mr. Jamal Aziz. Hazel Johnson, good evening. Desiree Smart, Felix, New Amsterdam in the house. Sandra Price, good evening. Fidel, or it's Fidel out, a pleasant good evening. Cheryl Welch, good evening. Hazel Johnson, I think I said good evening to you. Denise Samuels, good evening. Good evening, good evening. Shawnette Spelling Light, pleasant good evening to you all. Welcome to the program. Sandra, I see you here from Art. Kisun Neville, good evening. Yvonne Rodriguez, pleasant good evening to you guys. Welcome to the program. Verlin Ward, welcome, welcome. Share the link, like the program. This is your program. This is your time here on Saturday. We're going to be rocking and rolling for approximately an hour, so it all depends where we go. All right. So we're coming off of the U.S. elections. I'm not going to dig too deep into that. I'm going to just look at it and give my perspective from a high level, as we would have had Mr. Mark Anthony Benchcop and Mr. Tom Anderson break that down in detail for you guys, you know, on our weekly straight up shows. So I'm not going to repeat what they had to say already. I will just give my perspective from a high level perspective, meaning that I'm not going to give too much details, but just a quick high level. We're going to just rehash that quickly, right? I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you guys are doing very, very well. Not to worry too much, you know. Yes, we had an election. The outcome may not have been what many of you were looking for. But the good thing about the United States of America is that it's a functioning democracy. And there's no one person who can move or drift the country in a whole different direction. There's a lot of checks and balances in this country, although you can see that there's been a lot of attempts to pack the courts amongst other things. But look, I think the U.S. have a robust system that, you know, that there's going to be correct checks and balances, and we're going to go down the right road all in all. So basically, just to put in a nutshell, it didn't matter who won last Tuesday's election. All of us still had to get up the next day and get out to work and continue to execute, right? A lot of people on the right would have came out and said a lot of things, like Congressman Jim Banks, who came out and say, well, you know, everyone will be going back to their countries. We'll be sending back all the undocumented people and all of this, whether you did bad or whether you did good. You know, it's kind of like a system of Peter pay for Paul and Paul pay for all. But let me just remind everybody, right, that there's no particular ethnic group that is responsible for building America. Everybody would have built this country, and everybody would have contributed, okay, to the success of this nation. No one ethnic group. Although you find a lot of times, you know, there are specific ethnic groups that want to call all the shots, you know. But you could go back to the simple place that Donald Trump is about to enter after January 20th, the White House. That was built on the back of slaves. So, you know, we could break down things however we see it, but it's what it is. The people of America got an opportunity to speak, and they speak. You know, listen, whatever you sow, that's what you'll reap, right? People have went to the polls, they've made their decisions. Now you can't go back on your decision. Your decision is what it is now. You got to contend with that for the next 4 years. Okay, whatever it be. Okay, we can all be surprised, you know, because it can be good for everybody. You never know. All right, I'm not going to be the one to speculate here. You never know, right? But some great things that would have come out of the election. Quick turnaround with the stock market, man. That thing just blew through the roof. You know, the stock market was through the roof on Wednesday, man. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all 3 days. It was up. But what I would say, and seeing that I just decided to slip on the stock market, right? The stock market, which we call Wall Street, right, has been doing very, very well. Whether it was Trump for his 4 years, where the stock market did very well. And it all started with Barack Obama on his 8 years. Right? He kind of rebuilt the whole thing. He kind of rebuilt the markets just keep flourishing right into Donald Trump, right into Joe Biden. Well, Donald Trump has not yet been inaugurated into office yet. Still on the Joe Biden, but we have President-elect Donald Trump. So stock market went through the roof. So when you look at it from that perspective, great. The problem with that is that the stock market is considered Wall Street, and Wall Street doesn't always transition to Main Street. So that's where we have the disconnect, because you could look at it, United States elections, yeah, you could look at it with an ethnic perspective only to a point. Only to a point. All that ethnic stuff is thrown through the door when you start to impact people's pockets, right? And that is what would have happened here. The stock market doesn't represent the normal worker in the United States of America. And those are the people who went to the polls and overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. Overwhelmingly, right? When you look at the Hispanic Latino votes, in 2020, Donald Trump had 36% of the Hispanic vote. I think he ended up somewhere around 46% of the Hispanic votes he would have gotten this year. Another approach that the Democrats did that is very similar, brothers and sisters, very, very similar to what the PPP is doing in Guyana. And this one is worthy, because our infrastructure here in the United States was totally falling apart. The Democrats invested big time into our infrastructure in the United States here over the last 4 years. They've also eliminated student debt. That was two massive accomplishments, among other things, for the Democrats. All right? But the normal American, when they look at who is responsible for the economic pain that they are facing, they start off by looking at the wealthy, and then they look at the government. Okay? So once people are feeling that pain at the gasoline pumps, that pain to find disposable income for vacation, that pain of being able to consistently put food on the tables. Now, mind you, this may be the United States of America, but it has poor people here. There are poor people in Canada. There are poor people in the UK. There are poor people all over the world. Right? Let me just make that plain. And that's where the Democrats would have failed. You see, you have to listen, all the infrastructural works, all the elimination of student debt, the Democrats have done a lot of good things. The economy is not bad. Inflation is up there, but the inflation is up all over the world. It's up all over the world. I think it has came down some in the United States, but that's the difference between the United States and Guyana. Guyanese people, we are very laid back. Sometimes we don't even pay attention to these issues. We just go to the market, we go to the supermarkets, and we just pay more, and we call it a day, and we go home. In the United States, people look at these things, they document it, and they store it up here, and they remember when it comes time to go to the poll. And this is what I want to sensitize my brothers and sisters in Guyana to. Right? Unlike the United States, which is dealing with 300 and something million people, which is a massive sample. In Guyana, we're dealing with 800 and something thousand. We're still below 1 million. So we're dealing with a much smaller sample in Guyana. All that to say that, as a government, the Guyanese government, from a holistic perspective, have a chance to be more impactful when it comes to dealing with the people. But when you only have one, when you have a heart, and the heart has two chambers for whatever it is. And one side is working, side is not working. Right, left. Yeah, we just got cut off there for a moment. I hope. Am I audible, guys? You guys hear me? Okay, I guess I'm back now. Yeah. When you have a heart and only half of the heart is working, you're gonna have problems. Right? And when you look at Guyana from a holistic perspective, decisions in Guyana is not made by the collective government. It is made solely by the PPPC. And that's where we have our disconnect with Guyana. We are now working efficiently, but I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that a bit later, because as you could see, the Republicans they've won the Senate. Okay, they have the majority on the courts. They have won the executive with Donald Trump. They look like if they want to win the House also. But when they win all these segments of government, right, what you're going to see, you're going to still see a democratic process played out. Right? And that's what I want. That's what I want the PPP to pay attention to. Because they are so bent on calling Guyana democracy, and Guyana is so far from that. You're going to see a democratic process play out in the United States. You're going to see that when it comes to decision making. You're going to have votes. You're going to see how it works. If you guys ever get to see a session where the House is in session or the Senate is in session, you could always look it up on you could Google it, or you could go on YouTube and just look at one of the sessions. You will see a clear democratic process, not a dictatorship process. Clear democratic process, and that's what we need in Guyana in order to be efficient. All right. I want to touch on where I think the Democrats would have failed. Now, when they would have won the 2020 election, right, the first thing I would have been looking at in my analysis is that, hey, look at my candidate, look at my candidate, look at my presidential candidate, look at my president. Okay, look at his age. All right. We need to start putting together and facilitating a succession process, right? Meaning that Joe Biden is only going to sit in the office of the president for 4 years. When we go back to elections in 2024, we must have a prepared candidate. This is where I feel as if the party was unfair to Vice President Kamala Harris. I feel like if her face wasn't plastered enough on the television screen, we weren't seeing enough of her. We weren't getting to see the work that she was doing. Okay? What I'm putting in a nutshell, she wasn't impactful enough as vice president. I think this is something that Democrats need to look at and understand. It's not just the face of the president you need to be seeing, especially when you have a president that is up there in age. You need to be seeing that vice president. You need to have a succession process in place, right? This is also for the coalition. I hope you guys are listening, right? You guys need to have a succession process in place. No one is going to sit there forever. No one is going to be successful mentally forever. So you got to cater for these type of things. All right. I feel they would have failed Kamala Harris there. Also, if President Biden knew, and I guess it's after a while he recognized, and look, this is a great man. This man has been serving in the U.S. government before many of us were born. Okay? He's a great man. I'm not going to take away anything from that, from him, where that is concerned. But as far as where he made the decision, to concede and have, Miss Kamala Harris, be the presidential candidate on the side of the Democratic Party, that was very, very late. That was very, very late. I want to give some credit to Miss Harris, though. The campaign was a strongly ran campaign. What was not on their side was time. it was time. The donations were through the roof. Okay? They didn't have time on their side. The other thing to Hillary, the Hillary Clintons, the Bill Clintons, the Obamas, while they contributed major in the campaign, let me say this. These days, in order to impact people, you have to be grounded with them, basically around the clock. You can't be missing in action for 2, 3, 4 years, and then all of a sudden, right? You cannot be missing for 3 for the rushing behind you. Right? You have to be consistently on the ground with the people. So I guess that's another lesson for the Democrats, right? And also that will be a lesson to the parties in Guyana. It's about the people, right? The people put you there and they can easily remove you. Moving forward, I am confident that the United States is going to move forward as a country. I'm gonna skip over to Guyana, where I heard the vice president talk about him complaining to Trump and discussing stuff about Rickford Burke among others, lying on the PPP. Nobody's not lying on the PPP. Here's the first thing. I'll tell you personally, from my own perspective, I'm speaking for myself, man. My integrity means a lot to me. Okay? I wouldn't come here and sit on this program and lie on anybody. And Barjagio should be the last person to talk about people lying. Okay? Because he's yet to answer what's going on with him and Sue. Right? He's still yet to answer that. Right? He hasn't answered when the young woman asked him the question, who is Mr. Sue Jerome? He just couldn't answer it. Who Sue? We still didn't get a real breakdown of who is Sue, what's the business transactions with him and Sue. We all know what it is, but we want to hear it directly from the horse's mouth, but the horse ain't speaking. Right? The horse ain't speaking. So, listen, I'm going to sit here on this program tonight, and I'm going to say, Barjagio, I don't give a heck who you complain to. Ain't nobody taking Rickford Burke nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. Nobody ain't going nowhere. Nobody ain't doing nothing to anybody. Okay? Nobody ain't doing nothing to anybody. This is a country where people have their rights. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I respect the office of the president. Donald Trump is the elected president of the United States of America. Joe Biden is still the president of the United States of America. When Donald Trump takes his oath of office and he goes in as the president, I respect Donald Trump. I respect that office, provided in return, Donald Trump respect we the people. Hey, it's not a one-way street. It's not a one-way street. Wayne Caesar don't walk down one-way street. We as a people, we ain't walking down one-way street. Okay? Two ways of communication, 2 ways of respect. Okay? 2 ways of respect. There's no gods here. All right? If I was sick, Donald Trump can't touch me and heal me. All right? He's a human being just like me. I respect the office of the president. Okay? Congratulations to him, on regaining the White House. And I must note that you notice that there were no disputes thus far. The Democrats didn't jump up, rig, we're going to make the transition on smooth one or anything. These are things to note. These are things to note. Right? These are things to note. Whether it is that America has voted and put a crybaby back in, we're going to see. We're going to see. We have to wait and see what the execution looks like. Right? We have to wait and see. As an educated man, I'm not here to bend and bow to anybody. And I know many of us here is not here to do that. Right? We're not here to do that. I want to remind Guyanese, right, that Joe Biden is still currently the president, and come January 20th or thereabout, Donald Trump is going to be sworn in as the new president of the United States of America. You heard what I said, the United States of America. I didn't say Guyana. I didn't say Guyana. The people of Guyana is still responsible to make the choice. They are still responsible for making the choice, and they should be allowed the latitude to make the choice of who they want to lead their country. There should not be any interference. I'm seeing here Terrence. Terrence says Trump will do a better job than Kamala Harris. Terrence, I can't disagree with you. I'm not going to disagree with you because it's going to look as if I'm biased, and I'm not going to do that. Can Trump do a better job? When it comes to foreign affairs, I'm confident that he's going to do something about that Ukraine war and about that Gaza war. I'm confident in that. And listen, I am pro-life. Okay? It's obnoxious to watch the amount of people that's dying in those two wars. It's crazy. We cannot sit here and be immune to that. People are dying out there. People are dying out there. Some of us are immune to that because it's not our brothers and sisters. But for me personally, those things bother me. And if there's someone who can put a stop to it, let it stop with immediate effect. Too much bloodshed, children dying. And then we have to be very, very careful. Sometimes we like to quote and say, oh, terrorists. We call people terrorists. Well, when you go to work and you come home and your entire family is dead, wiped out, I would automatically think that person would get radical. Right? I can't kill that person for getting radical. I left and went to work and left my family intact, and I come back home and they're all wiped out. So we have to think. We have to think. You know, we have to think. It's not right. Too many people are dying. I am always pro-life. Too many people are dying. We need to cut down on that. So, from the perspective of the wars, I think he can be very impactful. And he's very stern with some of the positions he takes. He's very, very stern with some of the position he takes. But I am hoping if he is going to have a position on Guyana, that he goes through the facts completely. Right? He needs to go through the facts completely. Because you cannot agree to keep a government in place, you know, that has a record of extrajudicial killings, that has been there now for 4 years and have done nothing for the Guyanese people. Nothing. We're struggling to give the Guyanese people a $100,000 cash grant. We're struggling. They don't know where the money is coming from. Now he's talking about going into the natural resource fund for another, what, 60 billion? What is he going for, 60 billion to do the cash grant? Come on. Put that in your budget. Put that in next year's budget. Drop that in next year's budget. We just can't keep taking money just like that. You can't take next year's budget and allocate 70% of that money again to infrastructure. What the heck are we doing? What are we doing? We're trying to develop Guyana completely in a 5-year period or a 10-year period. No, it takes time. It takes time to open up lands, open up roadways and stuff. It takes time. You just can't take all the money and put it into that and you're forgetting about the citizens. You want good, healthy citizens, right? In order for people to be healthy, in order for children to be healthy, they gotta eat, they gotta drink. Many have came out and said, "Oh, we would like All right, guys, I'm back with you. My apologies for that. We experienced some technical difficulties there. Very, very sorry about that, but we are back. We are back nevertheless. All right. As you know, let me just continue to elaborate from the perspective of our Guyana here. The other thing that we need to look at, I believe, is our election apparatus. That is so important. And I notice that, you know, the leaders of all the parties have taken note and they are finally making moves on that. Not that they weren't making moves before. There was a lot of internal communication before. But now, you know, it has become an external deliberation now, back and forth between the three leaders in the opposition and GCOM that is very, very stagnant and not willing to move. And I noticed that Barra Jagdeo is speaking a lot on behalf of GCOM, which is not the correct thing, right? It's supposed to be an independent body. If you ask my opinion personally, there is nothing that I see that is independent about GCOM. There is nothing that I see, okay, as a Guyanese that would give me confidence in the Guyana Elections Commission. Nothing. There's no employee at the high level of the Guyana Elections Commission that brings confidence to me. None. My opinion is that every man jack should be fired and replaced. They lack integrity. They lack respect for the people of Guyana. And they just lack basic decorum. That's my opinion of them. Okay? Claudette Singh is obnoxious. To sit there and call yourself the chairman of GCOM and to not address the Guyanese electorate, okay? To not address them. It is so critical that you address the Guyana electorate. It is so critical after what would have happened in 2020. Right? Imagine we are now dealing, guys, think about this. Imagine that we are now dealing with the issue of biometrics. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. We have passed some massive budgets. And we are now, only now, dealing with the issue of biometrics. And guess what? The quote-unquote attorney general, because if you ask me, that ain't no attorney general. That's just a big dummy. You understand me? Sits there and it's going to say that Guyana is not ready for biometrics. One man is telling me that my country is not ready for biometrics. That same man was the man that was standing outside of the polling station. Not allegedly. That same man was the man that was standing outside of the polling station with fake IDs handing out. What happened? You scared of biometrics? Because what? It's not going to be business as usual? Don't be scared. Guyanese, I can't get it. Why the PPP will be putting up a massive fight to stay in power? Why are you putting up such a fight? Being in power, being in government Okay? The first thing that you should be doing is taking care of your people. The people of Guyana is not even considered. You guys do not even consider the people of Guyana. Look at our teachers. Look at our teachers. You wanted to go into the Natural Resource Fund? You could have gone into the Natural Resource Fund and take care of all public servants first. And then you could have come back with, target your budget and come back with a $100,000 cash grant to every Guyanese. You could have done that. There's enough money to go around. It's just a matter of where the monies are budgeted, where the allocations are going, and you don't know what is being done from what is not being done. That Public Accounts Committee is just dysfunctional. The PNC have to find a way to get somebody better to lead that Public Accounts Committee, man. That's mediocrity at its best, man. That's just disappointing. That is just horrible. Okay? Marlon Thomas, me, you, we could be good friends, you know. But if I run in the Public Accounts Committee, I can't deal friendly with you, you know. All right? You don't mix business with pleasure. I got a job to execute on behalf of the Guyanese people. I got to make sure that that Public Accounts Committee is meeting consistently. Right now, I want to know what year they're dealing with. I'm sure they probably must be now getting into 2021. That is ridiculous for a small country. That is ridiculous. When are we ever going to be on top where we're saying, hey, we're doing last month now, we're dealing with last month, or we're dealing with the first quarter of 2024? Guyanese, brothers and sisters, especially the Guyanese of Indian descent, because you guys of East Indian descent, you guys are very, very arrogant to certain facts, man. You guys are very, very arrogant to certain facts, and you come out and you make certain comments that it's just so despicable. It just shows how ignorant sometimes you are to knowledge. You know, I'm just asking you guys, man. Just look at Guyana. Look at how we're doing business from a holistic perspective. Look at how we're doing business in this country. What are we doing every day? You know, why are we paying this group? Why are we paying the Public Accounts Committee? Maybe we can privatize it, make it something, or make an agency to come in and do that work, maybe. An independent agency. Because, look, we cannot continue to walk down these roads that we're walking down. Guyana would never go anywhere. All you would have, I'm telling you guys, all you would have is these guys, these Ashley Singhs, these Barry Jagdeo, these guys are content to just get rich and forget everything about the people. These guys are just there to get rich. There is no plan for the people of Guyana. I need to see a robust plan for the people of Guyana. I need to see a robust vision for the people of Guyana. I need to see a government that's going to start executing on behalf of the people of Guyana ASAP. Meaning like yesterday. We just got a group that is sitting there that is just getting wealthy. Every building you see that's going up. Oh, it's that minister. Oh, it's that minister. Oh, it's that deputy police commissioner. Oh, what's up? How is that? On a quote-unquote government salary? You know? And we refusing to pay the teachers? Priya Manichan came out and she's boasting about CSEC and CAPE. How dare you? How dare you? You think those students did that on their own? No. It was those same underpaid teachers, those same ill-treated teachers. You guys have no shame. You guys have absolutely no shame. It is just despicable to hear you speak and boast. How dare you? I can't even recall hearing a big thanks to those teachers because they went on the picket line and they still weren't paid. They went on the picket line, and let me be clear. Let me be clear. They were deceived by their leader. They were deceived. Mark Light, you deceived the teachers. You deceived them. I call things like I see it. And it's a shame. I'm going to say, on behalf of myself and this audience that I have here this afternoon, not just congratulations to the students, but also a big thanks and congratulations to the teachers, okay, that would have empowered those students, that would have molded those students, that would have prepared those students for those exams. Kudos to you guys. Hang in there. Hang in there. To the opposition, I am expecting that there will be a new government in 2025. And one of your first mandates should be to take care of these teachers and to take care of public servants from a holistic perspective. I want to jump quick to cost of living inflation and how I believe that we should attack this in Guyana. $100,000 cash grant, like I said before, when we did our calcs last week. By the way, I want to say a big thank you to my good friend, Mr. Victor Ben. I mean, we have spoken before regarding the other resources, and he was key to remind me last week when I was doing the calcs. Although I just wanted to really touch on oil, but he reminded me, Wayne, there's other resources in Guyana. And he's 100% correct. Our gold industry, our bauxite industry, Guyanese. Don't lie dormant and forget about those industries. Okay, we need to make sure that we are accounting for those industries and that the monies earned from those industries is just not going to corruption. Okay, we need to make sure that they are being reported as income in Guyana. We need to make sure that duties or tariffs or whatever the case may be is being paid on the gold that is exiting our country. Right. We need to make sure also that the gold is being reported correctly at the Guyana Gold Board. That has not been done for years. All right. Our corruption in Guyana is systematic. It's a massive system. It's a massive skeletal system. A new government, it will take them approximately, I would say, 7 to 10 years to dissect and get through that and break those barriers down to eradicate that corruption. A new government cannot get into Guyana, guys, and just sit dormant. You know why? The PPPC will continue to make money in massive amounts because the systems are already in place for them to make that money. That's why I say we have to eradicate those systems. There need to be a rebalancing of the wealth in Guyana. What people would have owned or claimed to own illegally should be taken back and transitioned back to the state, and the state will make a decision on it. I will wait to see what a new government will do when it comes to these things. This is not going after anybody in particular. This is looking at structures, looking at new businesses. People are saying, oh, this person is a president, this person is this person is that. You understand me? The Constitution says you cannot this, you cannot that. Well, okay. The Constitution is saying that you can't do this and you can't do that to individual, then I'll attack the assets. Then. Barry Jagdeo, let me tell you guys something. You guys are barking up the wrong tree. You guys honestly believe that you guys are going to just walk with what you've done to the Guyanese people. You guys think you'll just walk and walk free. Right? That's why you got to, I'm going to run and complain to Trump. Go complain to Trump. Oh, Trump is my daddy. Go complain to Trump. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm going to get a beating. Go on. Go. These businesses, these large businesses, they need to be taxed correctly. Property taxes need to be paid correctly. For a matter of fact, property tax, we need to make sure that property tax is being paid. It's being paid. Look, it's not hard. It's not hard. You feel like being a vice president, being the president of a country, being a minister in parliament. What? You're not considered a public servant. You're basically a public servant just like everybody else. You have massive powers. You do. You have a salary that is somewhat larger. The problem I have with you guys is that your salary, the matching of your salary, is not matching the assets that you own. So all I'm basically asking you guys to do is to source how you was able to own these things. Just source to me. You know, did your great-great-grandmother leave you $100 million? I would love to see that. I would love to see that. You know, just show us how you got the money. Just show us how you got the money. That is all I'm asking for. Simple. Nothing too, complicated. Right? The Constitution says you can't go after individuals. Okay, then we're going to go after the assets then. You want to know who owned this asset or were you able to own it? We want to know who is the shareholders to Sheriff Corporation, what percentages they own, and they must be able to source how they were able to obtain the capital. Right? And Barry Jagdeo, you could come forward and answer whether you're a shareholder with the Sheriff Corporation or not. You wouldn't know. It's better you be transparent and done. Be transparent, come forward. Again, here at Bench Operator, we're still waiting for our Ambassador Chu to respond to Mr. Benchcott's request when it comes to Barry Jagdeo's accounts out in China. Ambassador Chu, it would be the prudent thing to come forward and let the Guyanese people know what it is that their vice president have pertaining to assets in China. Right? That would be the right thing to do. Again, we haven't seen Sue. Barry Jagdeo says he's going to sue Sue. We're still waiting for the sue to happen to Sue. Nothing is happening. But he's talking that he's going to complain to Trump. Ooh, everybody's scared. Boy, it is the 24th century. Wake up, Barry Jagdeo. It is the 24th century. And nobody's scared of anybody, and nobody should be scared of anybody. You have to be scared of the Most High. That's the person you should be scared of. And that's how I want my Guyanese brothers and sisters to look at it. Be scared of the Most High. Guyanese of Indian descent, Guyanese of East Indian descent, do not be afraid of your African brothers and sisters. 2015 to 2020, were any of you guys extrajudicially executed? No. What are you scared for? You remember the army and the police were supposed to come in your house and rape you guys and do all kinds of things to your women? Send me the reports. Where did that happen? I'm just vaguely reminding you guys, because some of us, we tend to get amnesia. You know, we just kind of tend to, we get amnesia. When Comrade Granger is in there, what Comrade Granger tried to do? He tried to lead Guyana from a holistic perspective. Let for everyone. Right? He could have been biased and said, look, 23 years of suffering for my people, the Guyanese of African descent. It's time for me to look them after. Forget about anybody else. But I'm going to say this, man. I love my people, man. Because we are so unbiased that we would jump out of our skin to represent another race if we see somebody in our race is wrong. And I can assure you that if and when the coalition government take government in 2025, Guyanese of East Indian descent will not be ill-treated. They will not. Because we are here to hold the feet of whomever government take office to the fire to make sure that they govern for all of Guyana. You don't just sneak into Freedom House and giving out your 500 US to your people. And then when the quote-unquote Guyanese of African descent, who your quote-unquote call hungry bellies, show up there, everything shut off. We have a lot of learning to do. We have a lot of learning to do. We have a lot of work to do, especially when it comes to the younger Guyanese. The younger Guyanese seem to like their things. They like to have money in their pockets. They like to dress. They like to go out. They like to, do things. But it's on the parents to ground these young people, to teach them responsibility. I'm not saying that they must not go out. I'm not saying that they must not dress nice. I'm sure all of us dress nice at some point in our lives, went out and enjoy ourselves. I'm not telling the young people today to not do that. Enjoy yourself. You're young. You must enjoy yourself. But also, I want you to play your role. As a young 17, 16, 18-year-old teenager, I want you to play your role. Understand that sooner or later you're going to be voting. You need to start learning about how government operates. You need to start learning about issues that's going to affect you and your family. Right? You need to start learning your leaders and who they are. Right? Go to Congress Place, go to wherever. And Congress Place, to the PNCR, you guys need to have some young people parties, man. Some young people activities. Bring all the young people. Let them enjoy themselves, and at the same time, you teach them. You have a nice little hour of teaching, and then the party starts after. In order to party, you got to be there for the hour of teaching. There is ways, man. There's ways, but we got work to do in Guyana. All is not dead in Guyana because the Democrats didn't win the elections. No. In this world, it still exists what is right and what is wrong. Law and order still exists. Although in Guyana we are very lawless, thanks to the PPPC. Switching gears a bit, and notice no move has been made to get Clifton Hickin into a permanent status. You guys are showing me that you got some sense. You're showing me that you got some good sense. Yeah. Where? We got a guy disappear on CCTV camera. We can't even find the guy till now. And you guys talking about promoting Clifton Hicken to permanent status? We got a murder of the Henry boys that is unsolved. And don't feel we're finished with Quindon Bacchus. There are some police officers of East Indian descent that needs to be in prison. Now one officer shot down Quindon Bacchus. Not one officer was there. All who shot him down needs to be behind bars. Not one person taking the fall. No, we want everybody. We want everybody that was present. And the gun went off. Everybody. Peter Headley, we haven't forgotten. Paper Shorts, all those who were involved. You know? All right? Let's go. Brothers and sisters, we are approaching wrap-up time. And I really, really want to thank you guys. I know we had some technical issues this afternoon. Let me see, 7 minutes after 8. I'm going to try and give you guys another 3 minutes before I wrap up. Try to give you back some of that time we lost. I know we lost a couple minutes there. Well, yes, Ian Bino. Good evening. Get up, stand up for your rights. Don't give up the fight. Ian Bino, correct, brother. We cannot give up this fight. How can we? Where does that put us if we give up this fight? Where does that put us? It kind of put us in no man's land. Right? We got to continue this fight. This fight must continue. I noticed that the coalition is out there on Tuesdays now with Rhonda Lane, leading that fight, leading that protest or a new voters list. Indeed, we need a new voters list. Guyanese on the ground, to the extent you have time, and you could pop out there for half an hour, 40 minutes or whatever, to lend your support, and then you got to move on and go back to work or whatever the case is. Let it be. Lend your support, right? We all got to stand in there. We all got to take it. Listen, there's something for each and every one of us, all of you guys on this program here. There's something for all of us to do. We all have something to do. Whether it is calling home and talking to one of our friends' children, whether it's calling home and talking to a little nephew or niece, you know, whatever the case is, we all have a job of empowering and educating our young people in Guyana, reminding adults of all age the importance of 2025. My Guyanese brothers and sisters of East Indian descent, you guys need to focus on the issues. You know, you guys who are cane cutters and working for Gaisuko, you need to think about your children. Your children don't need to cut cane like you. Okay? Allow them to recognize their full potential. Give them an opportunity to recognize their full potential. I know we didn't get to discuss how I really want to dig in on how we could eradicate inflation, but what I am going to do next week, that's going to be our topic, how we're going to address inflation and the different avenues that we can take to temper inflation and to try to bring down the cost of living, you know, the cost of goods and these type of things. We're going to discuss that next week. But my brothers and sisters, I want to thank you all. I want to thank Mark Benchcott for giving us the opportunity to use this platform on Saturdays for this program. You guys have built out a beautiful program. I have to continually thank you guys because this is your time. It's your program. And, you know, I just want to say many, many, many thanks to all of you guys. I love each and every one of you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be careful out there, guys, as you go the roadways and stuff like that. Notice a lot of these container trucks, the containers are falling off the trucks and all that stuff. So when you guys drive up beside those things, don't stay beside them for too long or avoid driving up beside them. You know, you're walking, try to keep away from those things because you don't know if it's strapping properly. You do not know. We have been fortunate in Guyana thus far when you know, the luggage has fallen off of the tractor trailer. It has not mashed anybody or mash up people in a car or anything of that nature. All right. These are the government's people for the most part. They need to put regulation in place to make sure that the luggage on those tractor trailers are strapped down correctly. Also, I noticed there was a fire today at a hotel there, and I saw the equipment used and stuff. I must say somewhat kudos for purchasing that equipment. I would like to see, though, the purchase of equipment be a bipartisan thing where the opposition and the government is coming together and they're making decisions on that. Just want them to know that apparatus is a good apparatus. We don't need one of those in Guyana. We need multiple of them. They look tall enough that they can, go over the top of the structures in Guyana, and is able to take care of fires much more efficiently because it's so tall you could actually look down and put the water down on the fires. We need to make sure that our fire hydrants are working around Georgetown. Guys, I want to talk next week about overall a rehab for border markets and big markets. I noticed that they're running down to nothing, and we need to rehab those markets. It's a part of our history. So I want to find out what the Georgetown City Council is getting from central government. We need to overhaul the markets. But brothers and sisters, I run out of time here, man. There's so much more I want to discuss, but I run out of time. We are going to talk about all these things next weekend. Until next weekend, love you guys. Take care. Goodbye. Until next.
Today, I'd like to talk about the harm and disastrous impact the current Vice President of Guyana, Bharat Jagdeo, has brought upon the people of Guyana. Everything he has done has been for his own benefit, never thinking about the well-being of the people or taking any action to improve their lives. Instead of helping the common people live a decent life, he has abused his power from 1999 to 2024 to embezzle at least billions of dollars of public funds, possibly even more. The ordinary people have suffered from unfair treatment and a disastrous quality of life because of him. He's a truly corrupt and evil person, using his special status to commit countless harmful acts against Guyana, all for his own gain. He even has a massive fortune in China, worth billions of dollars, all taken from the people's wealth. Today, I hope everyone becomes aware of his corruption. Let's come together, unite, and help the people of Guyana start a new chapter for a better future.
今天想跟大家一起了解现在的圭亚那副总统巴拉特贾格迪奥所对圭亚那人民带来的伤害跟灾难性的造成，他所做的一切都是为了自己的利益，从来没有为圭亚那百姓着想，或者做出任何能让百姓生活变得更好的事，让平民百姓过上应该有的生活。他凭着自己执政的权力，从1999到2024贪污至少数十亿美金或更多百姓的财产。他让平民百姓受到了非常不公平的待遇跟灾难性的生活。他是个非常邪恶的人，用着自己的特别身份，做着对圭亚那无数伤害的事件，只为了自己的利益。他在中国还有一笔巨额全额高达数十亿美元，都来自于百姓的财产。今天希望大家都能看到或听到他的腐败的一面，让我们一起团结一心，让圭亚那的人民重新开始。
Look, she's running with the food, she's running with it, she's running, yeah, good. Sandrine, you should never do that, you know. Why you say that?
Because I gotta rile y'all up, because listen, the whole thing is that, right?
You're my video, right?
No, yeah, I know. The president...
Yeah, my name is Jacinti Caldata, Francis Vietnam, and since 1965, I become a voter. And I always place my ex next to the cup. And what they are doing today, I can't take it. So I have no more vote to give to PPP anymore. I'm not going to vote anymore no more. If they have to lose by one vote, they're losing it by data.
Oh, Jesus Christ, if cost of living double, I don't know what happened. A pound of sugar is $300 already. Flour, everything gone up. Everything just raising. You gotta get about $40,000 for buy good ration. You gotta get 3 man now. A weekend man, a monthly man, and a fortnight man.
Today, I'd like to talk about the harm and disastrous impact the current Vice President of Guyana, Bharat Jagdeo, has brought upon the people of Guyana. Everything he has done has been for his own benefit, never thinking about the well-being of the people or taking any action to improve their lives. Instead of helping the common people live a decent life, he has abused his power from 1999 to 2024 to embezzle at least billions of dollars of public funds, possibly even more. The ordinary people have suffered from unfair treatment and a disastrous quality of life because of him. He's a truly corrupt and evil person, using his special status to commit countless harmful acts against Guyana, all for his own gain. He even has a massive fortune in China, worth billions of dollars, all taken from the people's wealth. Today, I hope everyone becomes aware of his corruption. Let's come together, unite, and help the people of Guyana start a new chapter for a better future.
Yourself get too regular, 'cause every man we come find them thing that about